Capitalism's greatest critic, Karl Marx's theories are making millions of people rich in today's capitalist system. But this isn't just irony, it's proof that Marx was genuinely this forward-thinking. Because what's happening right now in Silicon Valley's disruption, Wall Street's value creation strategies, and even the crypto world's decentralization movements are exactly what Marx predicted 150 years ago. The craziest part? Everyone who truly understands and applies these theories is getting rich. So which of Marx's theories are worth millions today, and how can you use them? The most successful entrepreneurs using Marx's theories aren't just applying one concept, they're combining multiple insights to create compound effects. David Kim built a freelance platform that solves alienation direct client relationships, eliminates surplus value extraction 95% to freelancers, and creates network effects better freelancers attract better clients. His platform generated $25 million in its second year. The key insight? Marx's theories work together. When you solve multiple problems he identified, you create exponential value rather than linear growth. Marx predicted that capitalism would evolve into something more cooperative and worker-friendly. He was right. It's just happening through technology instead of revolution. The sharing economy. Creator platforms, blockchain technology, and remote work are all fulfilling Marx's vision of workers controlling their means of production. Entrepreneurs who recognize this pattern early are building the next generation of wealth. You don't need to read all 3 volumes of Das Kapital to apply these insights. Start with these questions. Where do you see surplus value being extracted in your industry? What means of production could you democratize or make more accessible? How could you solve alienation problems in your field? What cooperative model could you build? How could you create network effects that benefit everyone? The irony isn't lost on anyone. Marx, who died broke, developed theories that create modern fortunes. But maybe that's exactly what he would have wanted. His ideas helping workers become owners, employees become entrepreneurs, and the exploited become the ones building better systems. The real question isn't whether Marx's theories can make you rich, it's whether you'll recognize the opportunities when you see them. Because right now, in boardrooms and startups across America, people are getting wealthy by applying ideas from a 19th century German philosopher who thought capitalism would eventually transform itself. Turns out he was right. The transformation is happening now, and the people who understand it are the ones getting rich. Marx would probably be amused by the irony. After all, he always said that capitalism contains the seeds of its own transformation. He just never imagined that transformation would make so many people wealthy along the way. Ultimate paradox. When communist theory creates capitalist success, picture this in a sleek Silicon Valley conference room. The world's richest tech CEOs are quoting Das Kapital. On Wall Street, hedge fund managers are developing investment strategies using Marx's surplus value theory. These aren't fictional scenarios, they're today's reality. Alex Chen, a 28-year-old software developer, had his life changed when he read Marx's German ideology. Marx's statement that individuals can only create real value when they're part of social production gave Alex $1 million business idea. He realized that traditional freelancing platforms were extracting massive value from workers, exactly what Marx had warned about. So Alex built a platform where developers could collectively own their workspace, share profits, and control their means of production. Within 18 months, his cooperative platform generated $12 million in revenue, with developers earning 40% more than traditional platforms. Marx's 150-year-old insight had just created a modern fortune. Marx's fundamental argument was simple. Value comes from labor. But in today's world, this labor concept has completely transformed. It's no longer about physical strength. It's about mental power, creativity, and network effects. Marx explained that bosses get rich by paying workers less than the value they create. The difference? It's that surplus value, and it's where the real money is. Today's smart entrepreneurs aren't just avoiding this trap, they're flipping it entirely. Take Sarah Johnson, a graphic designer who read Marx and had an epiphany of working for agencies that charged clients $150 an hour while paying her $30. She started calculating her true value creation. She realized she was generating $120 in surplus value per hour for her bosses. Sarah's solution? She created a designer collective where everyone kept 85% of their billable rate, with 15% going to shared resources and marketing. Her annual income jumped from $45,000 to $127,000 in 8 months. But here's the Marx twist. She also started collecting that surplus value by bringing other designers into her collective. Now, Sarah's collective generates over $2 million annually, and she earns 6 figures just from the platform she created. She went from being exploited for surplus value to collecting it, exactly what Marx said the owning class does. Marx obsessed over who controls the means of production, the tools, resources, and systems that create value. In 1850, this meant factories and machinery. In 2025, it means algorithms, data, platforms, and digital tools. The breakthrough insight? Today's means of production are more accessible than ever. You don't need a factory. You need a laptop, internet connection, and the right knowledge. Consider Jake Martinez, who understood that social media algorithms are the new means of production. Instead of just using them, he learned to control them. Jake built a content automation system that manages social media for 200 small businesses. He doesn't just create content. He owns the system that creates value for others. Jake's digital means of production generates $3.5 million annually. He employs 12 people and has built what Marx would recognize as a modern factory, except this one runs on code instead of coal. Marx wrote about worker alienation, how people become disconnected from their work's purpose and value. Today's gig economy has made this worse, but smart entrepreneurs are using this insight to create massive value. The pattern is everywhere. Uber drivers feel alienated from transportation, so entrepreneurs build driver-owned ride platforms. Freelancers feel alienated from their clients, so new platforms emerge, offering direct relationships and better profit sharing. Maria Rodriguez saw this pattern in food delivery. Drivers were alienated from both restaurants and customers, earning minimal wages while apps extracted massive value. Maria created a driver-owned delivery cooperative in Austin. Drivers keep 90% of delivery fees, restaurants pay lower commissions, and customers get better service. The result? Maria's cooperative now operates in 12 cities, processes $50 million in annual orders, and has made several driver owners millionaires. She solved Marx's alienation problem and got rich doing it. Marx predicted that capitalism would eventually lead to its own transformation. He couldn't have imagined the internet, but he perfectly described platform economics. Modern platforms are exactly what Marx envisioned. They connect producers directly with consumers, eliminate middlemen, and allow workers to own their means of production. The creators who understand this are making fortunes. Marx said workers should own what they produce. Today's creator economy is exactly that. People owning their content, audience, and revenue streams. The biggest successes aren't just creating content. They're building what Marx would call cooperative enterprises. Mr. Beast didn't just make YouTube videos. He built a media empire where team members share profits. His company generates over $100 million annually, and key employees have equity stakes. It's a modern version of Marx's worker-owned cooperative, except it's built on YouTube algorithms instead of factory machinery. Blockchain technology is Marx's dream made digital. Decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, are literally worker-owned cooperatives running on code. Early adopters who understood this connection made fortunes. Ethereum, the world's second-largest cryptocurrency, operates as a decentralized platform where developers collectively own and govern the network. Early participants who understood Marx's collective ownership concept became millionaires. When they realized crypto was building exactly what Marx had envisioned, Marx understood that value increases when people work together. Today's tech giants have turned this into network effects. The more people use a platform, the more valuable it becomes for everyone. Smart entrepreneurs aren't just riding network effects. They're creating them. They build platforms where every new user increases value for existing users, creating explosive growth. Strategy 1. Identify surplus value extraction. Look for industries where middlemen extract huge value from actual producers. Build platforms that give more value back to creators. Strategy 2. Democratize. Means a production find expensive tools or systems that only big companies can afford. Create affordable versions that individuals can use. Strategy 3. Solve alienation. Problems identify where workers feel disconnected from their work's value. Build solutions that give them more control and ownership. Strategy 4. Create cooperative platforms instead of traditional employee models. Build platforms where users' workers have ownership stakes and profit sharing. Strategy 5. Leverage network. Effects design systems where each new participant increases value for everyone else, creating unstoppable growth.